Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for putting together this great conference. I brought a couple of slides. Just very briefly, I want to tell you a little bit about the European Fact-Checking Standards Network, which we abbreviate as EFCSN, what we do and sort of what we deliver for our community. So we're a network and the Association of European Fact-Checking Organizations. Currently, we have 62 members from 36 countries. So we conceptualize Europe that is bigger than just the EU. So it's what we call the Council of Europe countries, plus Belarus, Russia, and Kosovo. So we have fact-checking organizations that work on Russian and Belarusian issues, but they are not based in these countries because that's impossible, unfortunately. All these organizations adhere to the Code of Standards, the European Code of Standards for Independent Fact-Checking Organizations. That's a very detailed code which is divvied up in these five chapters: transparent methodology, non-partisanship and impartiality, privacy and safety, honest corrections, and transparency. If you maybe know the IFCN Code of Principles, it's similar, but a bit more detailed. There's a few extra things in there that our members have to adhere to, where there's a very rigorous assessment process. And once that assessment process leads to an approval, a fact-checking organization becomes an EFCSN member. What we do for and with our members is basically four pillars. One, we uphold the standards. That's very important. That's very important. I think in general, in journalism, in fact-checking, we have the benefit that we have very clear routines and very clear formats for output. So that makes assessing of quality standards easier. We also do a lot of work in advancing fact-checking. So we coordinate, manage projects with our members to improve fact-checking, to broaden the scope of it. For example, we have a big pre-banking project at the moment. We do technology and database projects with our members. So that's the second big pillar. We also do a lot of advocacy work, especially in Brussels towards the EU institutions. There's a lot on DSA implementation, the implementation of digital regulation, where we provide regulators with insights who tell them, look, the platforms say they're doing this and this and this against disinformation, but in fact, they're doing not that much. And the fourth thing we do is we foster community. So we build and provide spaces for fact checkers to talk to one another. We hold conferences, we organize meetings, and we bring the community together to facilitate cross-border investigations. One example that gives a good impression of what we do, we have the Pre-Banking at Scale project, which is funded by a Google.org grant, where we work with 46 of our member organizations to do a couple of things. We worked out a network-wide agreed upon definition on pre-bunking. We provide funds for producing pre-bunking content, and we provide funds for building a monitoring tool that gives alerts when pre-bunking would be feasible and necessary to do. So that sort of covers a lot of what we do in terms of facilitating collaboration, advancing technological development, and also raising funds for our members. Because that's a big part of what we do. We offer financial benefits to our members. Becoming an EFCM member comes with a fee. So members, if they get approved, have to pay membership fees, but this is at least has been in the past year, far outweighed by the financial benefits. So when we get a grant, we either re-grant or we do bidding processes for our members to participate in projects, to participate with grants. And that meant that in 2024, roughly 80% of our budget went to member organizations, either as grants or as subcontracts for certain deliverables. And now 80% is a lot of our budget. Our budget, unfortunately, is not that great. So that totals about 1.8 million in 2024. One important aspect when we talk about the EFCSN, it's a member-driven organization. So I am the EFCSN coordinator, but I do what my members tell me. We have a board that's democratically elected. That's 11 senior leaders from fact-checking organizations that does is like a steering committee, that makes a strategic decision that I then execute for them. But the ultimate decision-making power lies with our assembly, where every member has one vote and votes, for example, on who sits on the governance body. If you are interested, I'm happy to take any questions. If you want to apply, we have a very straightforward application process that unfortunately takes a long time, a couple of months, because you have to go through a very thorough assessment process. But it's worth it, I believe. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. And I'm also happy to circulate the presentation. There's a couple of useful links. And I hope I stayed within the 7 minutes. Thank you.